Hello students, welcome to Mam and Me Academy. I am your mathematics educator Bipul Babu. Today we will see the introduction to exercise 1.3. For that, let us begin with the theorem which says let P be a prime number. If P divides A square, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer. Now we don't need the proof of this theorem, because it is written in the book that the proof of this theorem is not from the examination point of view. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to understand it, because if you understand this theorem, you will be able to tackle the questions in the next examples. Right, let us try to understand it with the example. Here it is saying that P is a prime number. So let us take a prime number 3. Okay, 3 is a prime number. And if P divides A square, let us take a number 15 squared, which is 225, right? So 3 can divide 225. You know that? How? Because if you add the digits of 225, 5 plus 2 7, 7 plus 2 9, the sum is 9. You know the divisibility of 3 right now? How? When you will add the digits of a number, if the sum is the multiple of 3, then that means this particular number or that particular number will be divisible by 3. Now here it is saying that P is a prime number, so we took 3 as our prime number. And if P divides A square, here you can see that 3 is dividing 15 square, then 3 will also divide the 15. 3 will also divide 15. This is written in this theorem. I hope you have understood this. It is very simple to understand. Okay, it's just a theorem. You have to just understand it. What is it trying to say? Let me reiterate for you. If P divides A square, if a prime number divides the square of a certain number, then that prime number will divide the number itself. The number. Okay, I hope you have understood this. Now let us see a question based upon this theorem, which is very important for you because this will come in the exam for sure. Okay, now let us see another theorem which says root 2 is irrational. More than a theorem, this is like a question. It always comes in the exam like prove that root 2 is irrational, and it is very important. Okay, make sure that you understand this very well because it's very important. I'm 100% sure that this question will be asked in the exam. Now, how we will prove that root 2 is irrational? We'll use a contradiction method. What is contradiction method? We'll assume the opposite of the statement. Okay, we'll begin with the opposite of the statement and we'll do some calculations, and at the end we'll come to know that whatever we have assumed was wrong. That means if our assumption is wrong, the question is right. Right? Let us try to solve this. Now we are assuming the opposite of this statement. So let us assume that root 2 is rational. Let us assume that root 2 is rational, because in the statement it is said that root 2 is irrational. So we have assumed the opposite of the statement. Now since we have assumed the root 2 be irrational, that means root 2 can be represented as P upon Q. Okay, since root 2 is rational according to our assumption, it is not in actual, but our assumption is saying that root 2 is rational. If it is a rational number, then we can represent root 2 as P upon Q, where P and Q are, you know that, right? Where P and Q are, what are they? Co-prime integers, right? Co-prime integers. Co-prime integers. And one more condition was there. What was that? Co-prime integers and Q is not equal to 0. Okay, this is the definition of rational number. Now cross multiply it, you will get root 2 Q equals to P. We have multiplied Q by root 2. Okay, and here it is 1 only, then you can multiply 1 by P. On cross multiplying, you will get root 2 Q equals to P. Rearrange it. Let us write it as P equals to root 2 Q. I have written P equals to root 2 Q. I did nothing, but I have rearranged them. Okay, now square both sides. On squaring both sides, we'll get on squaring both sides. We get, what do we get? We get that p squared here, okay, p squared equals to, when we'll square the right hand side, you'll get root 2 squared will be 2, okay, the square of root 2 will be 2 only, you know that, right? So we'll write 2 here, and q will be squared as q square. Okay, now what can we draw the what conclusion can we draw through this expression? We can say that yes, p square is divisible by 2, right? We can say that p 2 divides, we can say like this gives us that 2 divides p square. 2 divides p square. Is it okay? 2 divides p square. And since 2 is a prime number, so we can apply the theorem. What does the theorem say? Theorem was that if p divides a square, then p divides a, and where p was a prime number and a was a positive integer. Here you can see that 2 is a prime number and it divides p square, then according to the theorem 2 will divide p also. Okay, then by theorem 2 will divide, it's better I'll write here, okay, 2 will divide p also. Okay, since 2 is dividing p square, that means 2 will also divide p. Okay, now since 2 is a factor of p, that means we can write, let p equals to 2c. Let us write p equals to 2c, where c is some integer, I think you are confused here. Let us try to understand it simpler. See, 2 will divide p, that means 2 is a factor of p, or you can say that p is a multiple of 2, right? P is a multiple of 2. So we can write p as 2 multiplied by some number, right? We don't know the number, that is why we are taking a variable here. Okay, so p equal to 2c. Now put this value in this expression. Let us name this equation as 1. So we'll put the value of p, in equation 1. Okay, in equation 1. If you'll put the value of p in equation 1, you'll see, I'm sorry, not this one, you can use, this is the equation first. Okay, this is the equation first. If you put the value of p in equation first, you'll get p squared, right? 2c will be squared equals to 2q square. Okay, let us solve this. We'll get 4c square is equals to 2q square. 2 times 2 is 4. You will get q square equals to 2c square. Write it like this, q square equals to 2c square. Now again this expression is similar to this, right? That means this implies this, that 2 divides q square. 2 divides q square, right? And since 2 is a prime number, then according to the theorem 2 divides q also. Okay, I'll write it here. And since 2 is a prime number, therefore by theorem 2 divides q. Now if I name this statement as second statement, okay, and this one as third, what conclusion can you draw from second and third statement? Let us read it. Second statement says that 2 divides p. This is your second statement. Okay, second statement says 2 divides p, and third statement says 2 divides q. That means 2 is a common factor of p and q, right? Here it is saying that 2 divides p, and here it is saying that 2 is dividing q. That means p and q has a common factor 2. But we begin with P and Q are co-prime. What is the meaning of co-prime? That they have 1 as the common factor. But here we have got 2 as the common factor. That means whatever we have assumed was wrong. This means we can write that from equation 2 and 3. From 2 and 3, you can write from 2 and 3. 2 is a common factor. 2 is a common factor of P and Q. This implies that our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. If our assumption is wrong, that means the statement is true, root 2 is irrational. I hope you have understood this a bit. Now let us take another example. Let us change the number here inside, then we'll come to know whether we have understood the problem or not. Okay, now let us see example 9, which is prove that root 3 is irrational. This is a similar kind of question only. Okay, they have just changed the number inside the square root. Let us try to understand here the proper way. Root 3 is irrational, so we'll assume root 3 is rational, right? We can write, let us assume that root 3 is rational, opposite of the statement, right? Let us assume that root 3 is rational. Now since we have assumed root 3 to be rational number, that means it can be written as P upon Q. This procedure is similar only, just we have to change the number everywhere. Okay, so let us assume that root 3 is rational. Therefore we can write root 3 equals to P upon Q. We can write root 3 equals to P upon Q, where P and Q are co-prime integers. Very good. Where P and Q are co-prime integers. What are they? Co-prime integers. Co-prime integers. And Q is not equal to 0. This was the definition of rational number. Now what did we do in the previous question? We just cross multiplied it, right? We'll cross multiply here. You'll get root 3Q equals to P. After cross multiplying, we rearranged it, right? We wrote like this, P equals to root 3Q. After rearranging, we squared it, right? On squaring both sides, we can write on squaring both sides. After squaring, you will get P is squared here. Okay, root 3 square is 3 only, and Q squared is Q squared. Now from this expression, you can conclude that 3 is dividing P squared, right? This expression gives us the sense that 3 divides P squared. 3 divides P squared. And since 3 is a prime number, therefore by the theorem, since 3 is a prime number, and therefore by the theorem, we can write that 3 divides P. Okay, that is why I told you that theorem is very important, because the base of this question is that theorem only. Since 3 is a prime number, and therefore by theorem we can say that 3 divides P. Okay, let us assume this statement as first equation and this statement as second equation. Okay, since 3 divides P, so we can write let P equals to 3C. Okay, let us assume that P equals to 3C, where C is some integer. Okay, now we'll put this value in the first equation. Let us put the value of P, in equation 1. After putting the value, you'll get P squared, right? 3C will be squared here. Then 3Q squared, that means 3Q squared. After solving this, you'll get 3C square is 9C square. Okay, 9C square equals to 3Q square. 3 times 3 is 9. You will get q square as 3c square. Now what can you conclude from this expression? You can say that this expression means that 3 divides q square. 3 divides q square. Similarly, we can write that since 3 is a prime number, and therefore by theorem we can say that 3 divides q. Okay, let this be your third statement. Now you can see the second statement which says 3 divides p, and in the third statement it says 3 divides q. What does this mean? This means that 3 is a common factor of p and q, right? From 2 and 3 we can say that 3 is a common factor of p and q. Now since 3 is a common factor of p and q, but we begin with p and q are co-prime integers. In the beginning we told that p and q are co-prime integers, that means p and q have only one as the common factor, but here we got that 3 is a common factor of p and q. That means our assumption is wrong. We can write here, this implies that our assumption is wrong. Okay, if our assumption is wrong that root 3 is rational, that means this statement is right. Okay, so this implies that root 3 is irrational. And in the exam they can ask you any question by changing the number inside the square root. I think now you have understood this. Now let us see example 10, which says show that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. Now this is a very simple question. Don't consider this question as similar to that previous question. Okay, it is a mixed question. You can see that 5 is a rational number and root 3 is irrational number. And in your 9th standard you have studied that rational minus irrational is irrational. Here we have to prove it. Let us see how. We'll assume this expression 5 minus root 3 as rational. Okay, let us assume that 5 minus root 3 is rational. 5 minus root 3 is rational. I have assumed the opposite of the statement. Now since this is rational according to our assumption, we can write this as p upon q, right? We can write therefore 5 minus root 3 can be written as p upon q, where p and q are co-prime integers, right? Where p and q are co-prime integers and q is not equals to 0. Now in the previous question what did we do? We cross multiplied it, but we don't have to do that here. Now you have to separate the rational number and the irrational number. Okay, you have to separate the rational and the irrational. Since here root 3 is irrational, we know that. Okay, so let us take this to the right hand side and bring the p upon q to the left hand side. So you'll get 5 minus p upon q equals to root 3. Okay, now let us take the LCM of this and solve the left hand side. You will get q as the LCM, right? You will get 5q minus p equals to root 3. Now you know that q and p are integers, co-prime integers, right? Integer minus integer is integer only. That means this expression is an integer. Let me just write it for you. Since p and q are integers, you know that p and q are integers because we assumed that p and q are co-prime integers. If p and q are integers, this implies that 5q minus p is also an integer, right? You know the closure property of integers, right? If integers subtracted integer, that means the difference of two integers is integer only. This term is integer, this numerator is integer, and the denominator is integer. Integer upon integer is rational number, right? So you can write that 5q minus p upon q is rational. Okay, I hope you have understood this much. What did I tell? That q and p are integers, right? 5q minus p will also be an integer. So numerator is integer and denominator is integer. So integer upon integer is rational number. That means your left hand side is rational. But you can say that but root 3 is irrational. You know that we have studied and we have proved that root 3 is irrational, right? Okay, your right hand side is irrational, your left hand side is rational. Can this be possible? If a rational number is equals to the irrational number, is it possible? No. We can say that from first, let us assume this equation as first. We can say that I am writing it here. Okay, from first we get that irrational number. See, the number on the left is your rational number. So rational number is equals to irrational number. We get that a rational number is equals to irrational number. But this is not possible. Okay, but this is not possible. But this is not possible. And since this is not possible, that means our assumption that 5 minus root 3 is rational was wrong. This implies that our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. If our assumption is wrong, that means this implies that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. This was very simple as compared to the previous one, right? Now let us see example 11 and we'll come to know whether we have understood this type of question or not. Example 11 is, show that 3 root 2 is irrational. It is also a mixed type of question, right? Root 2 is irrational and 3 is rational. Rational multiplied by irrational is irrational, right? Now let us prove this. Let us assume that 3 root 2 is irrational, is rational. Okay, not irrational, rational. We have to assume the opposite of the statement. Let us assume that 3 root 2 is rational. Okay, now since we have assumed this number to be a rational number, we can write 3 root 2 as p upon q, where p and q are co-prime integers. They are co-prime integers and q is not equals to 0. It's a very simple type of question. You have to just try to understand. Okay, q is not equals to 0. Now what did I tell you? You have to just separate the the rational number and the irrational number. Here root 2 is irrational number, 3 is rational number. Let us try to bring 3 to the right hand side. You will get root 2 equals to p upon 3q. Okay, root 2 equals to p upon 3q. Now you know that p and q are integers. Okay, this numerator is integer, and if I multiply 3 by q, then 3q is also an integer, right? That means your denominator is integer. Integer upon integer is rational number. That means your right hand side is rational number and your left hand side is irrational number. Can this be possible that an irrational number is equals to rational number? No, that means our assumption is wrong, that 3 root 2 is rational. Okay, so we'll say that 3 root 2 is irrational. Let us write it. Since p and q are integers, right? P and q are integers, so is 3q. That means 3q is also an integer. This implies that p upon 3q is rational. Let us assume this as equation 1. Okay, now from and root 2 is irrational and root 2 is irrational. Now you can say that from first we can say that irrational number. Do notice where you have written the irrational number. In the previous question our rational number was on the left hand side and irrational number was on the right hand side. In this question we have written like that the irrational number is on the left hand side and the rational number is on the right hand side. So you will write irrational number is equals to rational number, but this is not possible, right? You can write it here, but this is not possible. This is not possible. It is not possible that a rational number is equal to irrational number. So our assumption is wrong, right? This implies that our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. If our assumption is wrong, that means, what does this mean? That the statement is true. That this implies that 3 root 2 is irrational. 3 root 2 is irrational. Okay, I think you have understood all the examples and the theorem. That is all for today. I'll see you in the next class with the exercise 1.2. Till then, if you have any query or any doubt regarding this chapter, you can ask me. And stay at home, be safe and study with Ma'am and Me Academy. I am your mathematics educator Bipul Babu, signing off.